What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Neura Edge channel. My name is Chris M. Walker, and over the last 9 years, I have built multiple successful businesses, including Legiit.com, an 8-figure B2B growth engine, and Superstar SEO, a 7-figure SEO search engine optimization brand, as well as having consulted with business owners and entrepreneurs in a ton of different industries from all over the world. One of the things I found in working with business owners and entrepreneurs of all levels is that they often sacrifice their health for the sake of their business. And that includes me. That's why I started this channel and this brand. And that's the story that I'm going to tell you in the video today. So first, let me give you a little bit of a backstory on me. I had been very fortunate in my life to be blessed with what most people would call good health. In other words, I never really got sick. I never got a cold. I never got the flu. I never really got injured much. And I was able to do pretty much everything that I wanted to do. I even got quite fit at various times and was very skilled at Kung Fu, which I studied for 5 years. To that point, my professional life had mostly been various jobs in retail management, in food service. I worked in politics for a while as a field operative. I worked in IT, information technology, doing tech support and things like that. None of it really led to any money until about 2013 when I discovered internet marketing and search engine optimization. Now, that story is beyond the scope of this particular video. I'll link to a video that tells you a bit more about my professional journey in the description and in the comments if you want to go check that out. But what I want to talk about now is a journey that led me to creating this channel and the things that happened that make me feel now that I need to share this with other people so they can avoid some of the mistakes that I made. By 2016, I was doing very, very well financially with my SEO, with my marketing, and all these other businesses and things that I was starting to put together. And I decided that it was time to go full-time on my own, meaning quit my job and go do this internet thing full-time and make a business out of it and really make something out of it. And that's where the health journey took a bit of a turn. See, I was determined to not only build a business that paid me well, but build something truly special, which, as any entrepreneur knows, often means working tons of hours and sacrificing everything else to achieve that goal. I would literally sit at my desk and my computer for 18 hours a day, doing different things, marketing, sales, doing the fulfillment, doing everything myself, literally just sitting there I would literally wake up, walk straight to my desk, work for 18 hours, and then walk straight to my bed. That was literally the only movement I got throughout the day. I would order in delivery every single day, whether it's Uber Eats or pizza or whatever, and I would literally do nothing but work. And if you're in any kind of entrepreneur circle, I bet you know someone that's just like that. Over time, it took its toll without me realizing it. I gained about 70 to 75 pounds from late 2016 to sometime in 2019 without me even realizing. It just happened a few pounds at a time. I really got big for a while there. Now, I got it under control for a little bit in 2019 with a keto diet and intermittent fasting, but I ended up not sticking to that because I just found it not really a good fit for me and just too difficult for my lifestyle. And I gained it all back. And that's when I slowly but surely started noticing some effects on my health. For example, I would go, like if I went to the store or the mall or something like that and just walking around, I'd start sweating and get tired really quickly. Or when I would pull up at home in my car, I would sit there for a few minutes before getting out. Stuff like that. Little things that our body does to trick us into saving energy. But from there, I really didn't do anything about it for the next 3 years because I was still focused on my business and literally nothing else. Then one night in April of 2022, and it's May of 2024 as I record this, I had a weird sensation in my chest. I wouldn't call it pain exactly, but I woke up in the middle of the night and it felt like something pumped through my heart or it fluttered. It's very difficult for me to explain, but it was very unpleasant. But it stopped quickly and I went back to sleep. And for the moment, I didn't think anything of it. However, after that, I started having, I would describe it as a tightness in my chest that would come and go, but it was there most of the time. I don't want to say it made it harder to breathe, but I was aware of it when I would breathe and I was very uncomfortable with it. And it wouldn't stop no matter what I did, no matter what I tried. To be fair, I didn't try as many things as I would today, knowing what I know now. So I figured I better make a doctor's appointment. Now, I don't know where you're watching this from, but in America, it's not always as easy as it sounds to make a doctor's appointment. I'd never had need for like a primary care physician, so I didn't have one and I didn't have health insurance at the time. So it was very, very difficult for me to find one that would even take the time to see me. The ones I found were booked for the next 6 months. And you have to remember they were still ramping back up to being normal after COVID. So there was even more demand for doctors than there normally was, but I couldn't find any that would take me to even give me like a routine physical or establish anything, particularly because I didn't have health insurance and they assumed I was too poor to pay for it. for 6 months. I also talked to a couple of different types of specialists and things like that, and nobody could see me anytime soon. I tried figuring it out on my own, but the symptoms were so non-specific that I didn't find any advice that I really trusted to solve it or to take it with it, because it all ended up being kind of fix your diet and stuff like that. I felt like that wasn't necessarily the cause, maybe the long-term solution. I remember one night I even decided maybe it was just some kind of cold or some kind of congestion. So I went to CVS, which is a drugstore that we have here in the United States. I have one right around the corner from me. I went to go buy some Mucinex, and for whatever reason, they were making you go to the pharmacy rather than buy it at the store. And the pharmacy was closed, so I couldn't even buy that to try and just get some kind of relief. That chain of events set me into the worst depression that I've ever gone through. Like, we all get depressed from time to time. This was the first time I was truly, truly depressed. Felt like the one time that I really needed somebody to help me, that no one would help me. And I really just thought I was going to not wake up one morning. I really thought that was going to be the end of it for me. Something would happen in my sleep and I just wouldn't be there the next day. That was very, very depressing to me. I just would lay in bed all day watching the blacklist of all TV shows, not doing anything and expecting the end to come sometime soon. I really had no idea what else to do, so I bought a blood pressure monitor off of Amazon. I thought maybe that would give me some more information and I could at least get a doctor to see me. I don't really know what I was thinking. I just decided to try that. So on May 30th of 2022, 2 years and 3 days ago as I record this, I took my blood pressure and I got a 172/97 with an 83 beats per minute heart rate. As I understand it, is just off the charts. And of course that freaked me out. I was like, I have to do something. So I went to what we call here in America a doctor's care facility. It's kind of like an emergency room, but it's privately owned, and it tend to be a little bit faster than a traditional hospital emergency room. First thing they did was take my blood pressure, and it was normal. So either I bought a crappy blood pressure monitor or I fucked it up somehow or whatever. But honestly, I'm glad that I did. Getting the wrong reading that day changed the course of everything that's happened since. While I was there, they also did an EKG. I believe that stands for electrocardiogram, that measures your heart activity. I'm going to leave that to people that know what they're talking about better than me to explain what that does. But they gave me that. The doctor said it looked somewhat normal, but he would feel better if I went to the emergency room anyway. So I did. And for some reason, they did another EKG, despite the fact that I'd had one maybe an hour before. Then they took an x-ray of my chest. Then they took some blood. Then I waited and waited and waited and waited. And this was a holiday weekend, so it was extra packed. Then the doctor came back and said that my heart enzymes were okay, but maybe I had a blood clot. They wanted to check my pulse and my blood again, because when I came in, my heart rate was pretty elevated. I imagine because it was hot as hell, the traffic was difficult, and I'd been waiting for hours, but I don't know. So they took more blood, and then I waited, and I waited, and I waited. Then they took some more blood, and I waited another 2 hours for them to come back and tell me that it was not a blood clot. Enzymes were fine, and I was low risk for a heart rate. However, low risk doesn't mean no risk, so he referred me to a chest pain specialist that I would meet with, I think, a week after that. They did that ER, just to put it in perspective, did maybe 20 minutes of work in about 6 hours, because it was a holiday weekend and American healthcare sucks. A week later, I went to the chest pain specialist, and they gave me a test that honestly I don't remember the name of, but they inject you with some kind of dye and then look at the way electricity passes through your body in this kind of scanner thing. I don't really remember what it was called. I know that somebody out there knows what I'm talking about. Please put the name in the comments. They also gave me a treadmill test where they test your heart rate as they slowly increase the speed, the elevation, to see how long it takes your heart rate to get to certain level. I did that, and they actually seemed to think I was doing pretty well on the treadmill thing. And then a week later, the nurse, I think that's the right term, forgive me if it's not, called me, and the entire feedback I got from her was, "You're good." I was like, "What does that mean?" She's like, You don't have any problems, you're good. That was literally all the information they would give me. Oh, and by the way, all of this was really expensive. Like, I think it cost me around $6,000 or so. Good news was the medical establishment decided I wasn't going to die. Bad news is they charged me thousands of dollars and tons of time and didn't get me any closer to the cause of the tightness in my chest or give me any idea of how I could get rid of it. So that's when I really took matters into my own hands. Their incompetence snapped me out of my depression, forced me to change up my life, focus on my health and my well-being. First step was I decided I needed to lose some weight because, like I said, I'd gotten quite a bit overweight at the time. And between June 2022 and September 2022, I lost about 45 pounds. I hired a nutrition coach from a program called Built with Science science to help me with that and keep me on track, even though I kind of knew what to do myself. If you're wondering, the diet wasn't anything groundbreaking. It was just a matter of keeping in a calorie deficit that was manageable and walking a lot more. I started walking 10,000 to 25,000 steps a day. I also started working with a wellness company around that time, and they prescribed me several things. Now, some of these are controversial. If you have strong opinions about them, of course you can leave them, but I was being guided by people that know what they're doing, and that's going to be kind of a theme going forward. So if it's something that bothers you, you don't have to keep it to yourself, but just understand that I know what I'm doing. They put me on testosterone stepionate, I probably pronounced that wrong, insulin-like growth factor 1 to help with muscle growth and fat loss. They put me on glutathione injections, which is an anti-inflammatory, and they gave me Armour thyroid. All of those really helped in ways that I didn't predict. I know that they have certain effects, but they really helped me feel a lot better. Like I noticed a change in my emotions. I didn't get angry as often. I wasn't as depressed. So that helped a lot with those. I'm not recommending any of this. I'm telling you to talk to someone that's qualified, trained, and knows what they're doing to see what you need. They also suggested some basic supplements like fish oil and things of that nature. I also made some non-medical changes that helped me a lot too. For one, I needed a hobby because I'd been doing nothing but working for, I guess, 5 years or so. And the first one I picked up is what you can see me surrounded by now is Funko Pops. It's a collectible bobblehead type of thing. I bought one day on a whim, and then I started researching them, and I kind of turned it into a ritual where I buy a few every week, and it's something that's very fun and helps me relax. So you may think it's dumb. I don't really care. It helped me a lot. I started dating again. I'll leave that as it is. I just hadn't been dating, and I started dating again. I started listening to audiobooks while I was walking, and that really fed my brain and gave my brain some nourishment that I had been denying it for a long time. I regularly started going to movies again. I love going to movies in the theater. Now, thankfully, this was after COVID, so I was able to start doing that again. I really, really enjoy going to the theater. I've seen probably 100 movies in the last 3 years. I changed up my wardrobe a little bit. You're probably all used to seeing me in Legiit gear, but outside of videos where I'm trying to sell you things, not this one, but on my business channel, I started dressing differently and just kind of mindset shift to improve my state of mind and my well-being. And all of this stuff may sound corny and it may not work for you, but it did for me. So the combination of the diet, prescriptions and supplements, and the lifestyle changes really made a big difference. It didn't happen overnight, but things really did start to change for me. The chest pains had mostly gone away, except when I drank coffee. Not caffeine. I could drink energy drinks or soda, which I don't really drink anyway, but coffee in particular seemed to cause them. So I've cut out coffee entirely, and they've gone away ever since. So that was a weird self-diagnosis. I know some of you are going to have opinions on that, and that's okay, but that's what worked for me, is cutting out coffee. By all accounts and all measurable standards, I had turned it around. But that wasn't enough for me. One of my guiding principles in life comes from the ancient philosopher known as the Joker. Everybody is one bad day away from losing everything. I was determined not to go back and not to regress, and to make sure that that bad day had to be extremely bad for me to lose all the progress I've made and end up depressed and fat and sick again. So I decided to start stacking additional things onto what I was doing to get myself as healthy as possible. I've never really been able to consistently stick to a gym routine because I find it excruciatingly boring. So what I did instead, I signed up for a Muay Thai class, and soon after I added a boxing class as well. Because I had a history with martial arts, I enjoy it. It's very cardiovascularly challenging and beneficial, and it's learning a skill rather than just lifting weights. So for me, that was a better fit. It also allowed me to socialize and make some friends more. And then last year, at the age of 45, I actually competed in my first Muay Thai kickboxing competition. Now, I lost, but I finished the fight and I did well. So I was very, very proud of that, considering where I had been just a mere 2 years before. I also began researching what I'm going to call scientific health analysis and optimization. Basically, I wanted to learn what the biggest factors were that improved health or were part of a healthy lifestyle, and learn what you have to do to improve each of those things individually in a scientific, evidence-based way, using data and research that you can find and that you can read and that you can understand, rather than listening to some doctor who spends 15 fucking minutes, takes your blood pressure, asks you 3 questions, and sends you on your way once a year. That led me to trying a bunch of different things. I use a bunch of different wearables like the Oura Ring and the Apollo Neuro supplements I've talked about, but I have a whole other list of supplements that I take based on specific things to me that need to be improved. Sleep optimization, including different devices, different routines, and different supplements to improve and enhance your sleep, because I find that to be the number one thing that makes your health better overall, and a whole bunch of other things that led me to having the best optimized health I've ever had. My sleep, my heart metrics, my biological age, everything are at their all-time bests. And that's based on information and data. Now, I want to make it clear that I'm the healthiest I've ever been. And by healthiest, I do not mean not sick. That's the way that a lot of people, particularly in America, define health. And to me, that's just nonsense. I mean healthiest in that I get the most out of my life. I feel the best I've ever felt. I'm the most productive. I'm the most aware. I'm the most able to do the things that I want to do. And I honestly feel superhuman a lot of days. Now, as you'll see in a future video, still a work in progress. The truth is we all are, and there's never a done when it comes to your health. After going through all these experiences and trying all these things and finding all these improvements and hitting these lows and the highs, I feel like I'm finally comfortable enough to make a video like this and to make a brand like this where I can discuss it and be transparent and talk to you about things that I've experienced, talk about what I'm doing, and hopefully helping other entrepreneurs and people in general avoid making some of the mistakes I made and getting into the kind of bad physical habits, but also the depression that I went through, to help you avoid those things, to help you or anybody else avoid going through the things that I went through by showing you the things that I've done that work for me, that you can decide if they are for you or not and implement. Now, again, disclaimer, I have no medical training. I have no medical experience. I have no qualifications whatsoever, except for having gone through something myself and figuring out what worked for me. Please don't take anything I say as what you should do. Just take it as me recounting what worked for me so you can figure out what works for you. That's also the so I don't get sued section of the video. And just in case you're wondering, instead of sacrificing my health for my businesses, I've optimized my health and ended up being even more lethal in my businesses, which have seen exponential growth and change over the last 2 years. You don't have to give up one for the other. And indeed, improving your health should lead to you improving your businesses or your performance at your job or whatever else it is that you're looking to get out of life. And in the end, it should increase your impact on the world if that's your goal. So that's my story, and that's why I'm doing this. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that it will help you achieve whatever you're looking to achieve. And if you want to follow along, subscribe to this channel or follow NeuroEdge on the various socials and become the ultimate version of yourself so you can achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve.